Man, that was awesome. I honestly wish that you guys could keep playing, but we have to get into this interview right now.
Do it.
So, we were talking about influences, and I wanted to find out more about your influences and how did you guys, really get into playing the way you play today?
How we got into playing? Well, it starts out at a very young age, and it's all about girls. And
It's always about
it's
girls.
always about girls. And then you start really getting into the music, and you just start picking up from everything that you're hearing. All the different influences I had. For me personally, having grown up in a Greek home, listening to Middle Eastern music had a major influence on me, and listening to Sinatra records back in the day, and Elvis, and then the Beatles, and so on and so forth. Every 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 genre has had an impact on what I hear, and and what I play. And you steal a little from this guy, and you steal a little from that one, and steal a little, and then you start making things your own. And
So it's not really stealing.
It's
it's
just borrowing.
It's
And
borrowing.
then you give it
Yeah,
back.
exactly.
So,
yeah, it's borrowing.
it's just like everything that drives our sound, from R&B influence from both Bill and I, and then some jazz roots influences. If you look at all the R&B influences from, worked with Otis Redding's drummer for a while, Woody Woodson, worked with Mark Green of the Moments. Bill's worked with who knows how many hundreds of great artists as well. All those have an impact. They all have an influence, and every once in a while, you'll reach back and you'll grab something that
Yeah.
somebody put on you a few years ago. You go, what? I remember that. So I'm going to bring it forward a little bit and do that.
Well, there's nothing new under the sun, so
Right.
Right.
this is how it is. This is how the industry is.
It's the way the thing works. You hear something, you learn it, and then you say, hey, I like that little piece, but maybe I'll just change it a little bit, and then it becomes yours. And then somebody else hears what you do, and they take it, and hey, that's pretty cool. Let me change that a little bit, and it becomes theirs. And everybody just feeds off everybody else, and that's how it works.
Yeah, and I think applying that inner rhythm, which is something that some musicians never get.
Yeah.
So if you listen to what Bill plays, occasionally I do listen, there's he's got this rhythmic approach where a lot of guitar players, they play chords and they have riffs, and they have some more chords and they have riffs, but it all doesn't quite connect, but Bill's got this inner rhythm thing going, and if you listen to what we just played and what we might play in a few minutes, you'll hear that inner rhythm approach, and that it's not only being able to slap to and fro with the drummer, but it's how do you work the intricacies of the riff so that everybody goes, now we got something we're either going to follow or we're going to piece it in somewhere else, and that's what drives our sound.
Yeah.
So that whole inner rhythm thing.
You know what I really want to know is this Northern Virginia life is so fast paced. We're always out trying to make it and make money and do our thing. Where do you guys find time to rehearse, and how do you guys get together to rehearse and practice?
You catch it where you can. That's
Yeah.
we tended to rehearse a lot in the beginning and just trying to figure out how our sounds would mesh. Fortunately, they meshed pretty easily. So, but you're right, in the fast pace, and when you've got 5 band members and
That
people
have
living
real
all
lives,
over the
everybody
area,
has a
And
life.
everybody's got
Yeah,
real lives.
exactly.
Who's got wives and
Yeah.
kids and
Yeah.
families and
so
things
you
going
just it's your passion and you find time for it. It's kind of like, okay, I'm gonna be gone for the weekend because guess what? I've got 2 gigs, and then you start all over again on Monday doing something else.
And
Yeah.
what we also do is I'll come up with a song. I'll come up with a tune that I'd like to do, and I give a reference, just a little something I record, and I send it out to the guys. Say, here's something, and then we'll do a gig, and we'll try the tune. The guys are talented enough that we can just give it a shot on the fly, and then we develop it over time live.
During
So
during
it never
gigs,
gets
basically,
actually
yeah.
never gets rehearsed. You're just rehearsing it live on the fly.
Yeah, exactly.
And,
yeah.
that's the case even with stuff that we do rehearse, because we'll rehearse something to death till we have it till we have it down pat, and then we'll play it on the show, and then I might hear something I like that came to me all of a sudden, and I'll make a little change in there, and then that becomes the standard. And he'll do something, or maybe change the way he phrases the lyric, and that becomes how we do it. So it's always developing. You never, it's not a record. You know, we're not a
Yeah,
record, and
exactly.
we're not copying. We're not copying anybody exactly. It's always how we feel at that time, and you try to stay true to the song, obviously, um, and you also try to stay close to how you originally rehearsed it. But you're always tweaking. You know, you're always tweaking.
And how do you come up with the play set? Who comes up with the play set? Do you guys?
So I
That's
do a
Dave's
lot of
job.
the set lists, and really it's when you start forming the night, you start thinking about evolving the night as well. Just like we evolve every song, you have to make sure the night starts and it ends. And people,
It's like a movie.
it's like a
Yeah,
movie, but
yeah,
the actors really don't have a whole lot of room to ad lib. Our audience ad libs all the time.
yeah.
So you have to keep it, you have to be able to change up almost in a moment going, you know what, the set list said this, but we're going to do something else because that's where we think the audience wants to go. Or I'm going to take the audience over here. They thought they were going here. Now they're coming
Yeah,
over here.
we do as we call as we like to say, we often do audibles. You know, we get off the playlist and we just hey, drop that one. We'll do that next. Let's do this song instead. You know.
Yeah.
So it really depends on the audience
You
response
got to
too.
feel out the crowd, basically.
Absolutely,
Yeah,
absolutely. We start off soft. We start off easy. We ease them into it. You know, people. We start at 9 o'clock. People start coming in at 9, 9:30, 10 o'clock. So we don't want to hit too hard early on. You know, let
You got to get them
everybody
drinking a
get
little
going.
bit before
Yeah,
they start partying. And
yeah,
Yeah,
and
the
then,
club
and then
owners like that part.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah,
yeah.
that's how you guys get paid too, man.
Yes,
No,
exactly.
I know the business, man.
So we build it up. And,
So I want to ask you guys about all this equipment, this beautiful equipment you guys brought out. First, I want to ask you about your guitar, the Fender. Is that your baby right there?
This is my number one. This is a Fender Strat Deluxe. I had it worked on a little bit. I had the neck plecked, which is, I'm not even going to bother going into that, but it makes the neck perfect. And I love this guitar. It's got exactly the tone I want, the feel I want. And,
Yeah, we have to hear something. I mean, I know
oh
everyone's
yeah,
waiting to hear
we're
something.
gonna hear. You're gonna hear something. We'll give you a little something. This guitar just does everything I need it to do. And actually, I have a second one. That's my number two. It's got a different neck on it, and I'll use that for depending on the room I'm in. That's a little brighter than this one. I kind of like a beefier tone. That gives it a little bit more brightness, but if I'm in a dead room, I'll use that one more often because it'll give me a little more presence than this one does. But yeah, this is my number one. I always have at least two guitars with me, sometimes three.
Just in case.
Well, I did a job over the weekend and I broke a string in the middle of the song. And this guitar, my guitars all have floating bridges, which means that if one string breaks, they're all out of tune. So
Oh,
I have to
okay.
quickly change guitars in the middle of the song. So I always have spare guitars with me just in case something happens. Same thing with Dave.
Dave, yeah.
generally
What about your
brings two
bass?
basses.
Tell us about the bass a little bit.
So this particular bass I like because you can do almost everything with it from a tonal perspective, from a traditional electric sound to more of an upright sound. Dial that back because of the pickup in the bridge.
Yeah, that's cool.
I can get that kind of upright tune. So you've got to be versatile on stage. So we have some songs that require more of an upright sound. We've got others that are full-on rock.
And explain to us, I mean, yeah, if you could just go into detail about why you would use the upright versus.
So we've got a couple of swing numbers. And traditional swing numbers, of course, were originally done with upright basses, right?
Okay.
So, we can. You can do that. As opposed to. I also use a 5-string. So a lot of players will use 4 strings and then they'll tune down, or they're constantly switching basses because
Right.
the key changed. Well, I don't have to do that with the low B string. I can just find a fundamental anywhere.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. I think what we have to do now is really get into some music. I know you guys had something you wanted to play.
Well, we had talked about how we try to make. We're a cover band, and we try to make music our own as much as possible. So we don't really cover tunes like the record. So we'll make, we'll adapt the songs, change them up a little bit. And we were just going to give you like an example.
Well, the one I wanted to hear was the Muddy Waters one, really.
Oh, the Yeah, well, Muddy Waters is an old blues guy. For any audience that doesn't know who Muddy Waters is, he's an old blues man, and he did very traditional style blues. And we took one of his tunes and we just kind of took that traditional blues song and just changed it up a little bit. So the original Muddy Waters tune would go. What make a man go crazy when his woman wears a dress so tight? What make a man go crazy when a woman wears a dress so tight? Must be the same thing. Make a tomcat howl at night. So that's the Muddy version. And
too bad you got to stop, man.
Yeah.
I need to hear your version now.
And then, so I took that tune, and we do it like that as well. We do that version as well, depending again on the night. But that's kind of a slow, grindy, groovy kind of thing. But if we have like a crowd that's hot and wants to dance, well, I just took that thing and I took the essence of the thing. The chords would be these two notes. But there's a third note in there. So I took that I took that as part of the chord, and I went and I made a little New Orleans kind of funk feel. What make a man go crazy when a woman wears a dress so tight? What make a man go crazy when a woman wears a dress so tight? Must be the same thing. Make a tomcat howl at night. That kind of
Yeah, man.
You stick with the essence of the song, but you just change the figure a little bit.
So what I want to know is, you guys can play for any crowd.
Yeah, pretty much.
What I want to know is, what kind of crowd do you guys pull? Like, do you guys pull a young crowd? I'm sure that it's a mix.
It's a
I
mix.
was gonna say, I'm sure it's a mix.
I think, yeah. Yes, that's true. Our demographic, I find, is somewhere from the 40s to 60, 65-year-olds. So it's that 25-year age group. However, we have done gigs. We did a gig a few weeks ago, and it was a very young crowd. And when we walked in, I looked around and I said, I told the guys, I think we're in trouble here. I don't know if they're going to really dig what we're doing. But and at the end of the night, they were going crazy for us. So I was really surprised and thrilled that they got into it. But one young lady came over and said, she says, "Oh, I love the stuff you do, and my dad used to listen to that stuff all the time." I was like, "Okay, well, that's pretty cool." But, they relate to it. They related to it. And if you do it doesn't matter what kind of music you're playing. If you play it well, people are going to appreciate it, and that's really what it comes down to.
Yeah. There's another track you guys want to do as well, and I want to hear that, the Allman Brothers.
Yeah, it's another example of how we take a song and and we kind of change it up a little bit. Um, the Allman Brothers version actually starts off with a bass line.
I've been run down, I've been lied to, and I don't know why. Let that mean woman make me a fool.
So that's the Allman Brothers feel.
The
on that
original.
one. Yeah, that's the rhythm. That's the
Right.
and
It's
so
kind of that traditional 6/8 thing.
right.
No, but was that,
And
you
I
know,
took it. Well, you listen to the lyrics, and it's the guy's getting screwed over by his girlfriend, by his wife.
Who isn't, huh?
You're right. And there you go. So it just seemed to me that it should have been a more emotional. The song's a huge major hit, so I'm not gonna tell them that they didn't do it right. But I felt that had I done it, I would have done it a little differently. And the way I do it is slowed it down.
I've been run down, I've been lied to, and I don't know why. Let that mean woman make me a fool. She took all my money, wrecked my new car. Now she's with one of my good time buddies and been drinking in some crosstown bar. Sometimes I feel, oh Lord, sometimes I feel like I've been tied to the whipping post, tied to the whipping post, tied to the whipping post. Good Lord, I feel like I'm tied.
And it just so it changes the feel a little bit.
That's awesome, man. You guys play so well together, you know.
Oh, thank you.
I wish the rest of the band was here as well.
Yeah, it would be great. It would be great, but I think that a couple of the guys are out of town working some gigs. So
Well, what I wanted to ask you guys is, and when you guys play together, when you guys go out, what kind of response do you get at the end of the night? Do the women throw their panties at you?
oh yeah, oh of course, absolutely, all the
Yeah.
time. I go home covered in underwear. No, no, the crowd seems to like us. We packed the house actually. You know, my function, our function, I feel, is not so much that we need to bring a crowd, but if we're playing a venue, especially a venue that doesn't know us, we're the first time in there. My job is not to bring the people in. If a venue is known as a music venue, it's a hot club in the neighborhood or a concert hall or something, our job is not to pack that place. Our job is to make sure that place stays packed all night.
Yeah, your job is to play. It's the promoter's job to get people in there.
There you go.
That's
So
what a lot
whoever's
of people don't
promoting it's
understand.
there. But I want to make sure that when people come in there, they're having a good time. It's a party, and at that moment, once we hit the stage, it becomes my house, my party, and I want to make sure that my crowd is having a good time.
Well, listen, I've been to a few of your parties, and I've had an awesome time. You know, I
Always
wish
a blast.
I don't drink, you know, but if I did, I'm sure that I'd be down there dancing. I don't dance either.
You don't dance.
So if I did drink, I'd be dancing at your parties, man.
Well, it is that kind of a thing that we try to promote. You know, we want to make sure that everybody's having a good time. And you don't have to. You know, people do a thing that I call chair dancing. You know, they won't get up and mostly guys. So they won't get up and dance, but you see them kind of moving in their chairs. You know. So and I
Well,
go over
that's-
to them and I chair dance with them. I'll sit down in the chair next to them and you know we'll chair dance together. And
Well, I was gonna say because I've seen you jump off stage and start playing in the crowd. And,
Oh, yeah,
and you like to use the crowd.
you know, everybody's in the band. You know, we feed off the audience. And the more the audience gets into it, the more we're into it, the more enjoyable it is for us, the more enjoyable it is for them. So everybody has a great time. And I like to draw the audience in. You know, I'll hand them tambourines or, you know, maracas or a cowbell. I'll sit down with them, play. I'll hand them my guitar pick and I'll hold their hand and have them play in my guitar, you know. And it's fun. We just try to make it a very interactive experience for everybody. And everybody walks out of there at the end of the night tired as hell, happy as hell, had a great time, and they look forward to coming and doing it again.
Exactly, yeah, and that's what it's all about.
That's
Yeah,
that's what it's all about. Man.
and you know another thing is, Dave. You know you have a very distinct voice. I know a lot of people that come out to the shows come out to listen to you because you know you guys have a sound like you guys should be. I know you guys don't have a recorded album right now,
Right.
but you guys, in my opinion, should be working on an album right now because you guys are a hot sound right now. You know. And I would love to see you guys in the studio because not only will that help you guys grow, but it's something that'll be there forever. And it's a stamp, it's a mark.
Well, it's something that we're talking about.
You know, if we're still alive, it's coming out. It's due out in 2020. So
It's funny, yeah. No, it's something that we have talked about, actually. We even have a title for it, being that we're a cover band and we don't really do any original music. I thought I would call it Dead Cat Bounce cover to cover. And
Okay, yeah, that's cool. Yeah.
You know, so we're actually in the process of putting something together now. Very early stages, but we are talking about doing it and getting some material together for it. So we'll see how that comes out.
Well, I'm looking forward to it.
Hopefully 2016 will be our year. We had a really great 2015. We did almost 60 gigs this year.
Okay.
And for a bar band, I think that's pretty good. You know,
Yeah, that's a
local
lot,
stuff. So we had 60 gigs, and we have a great audience. They come to our shows, and we love them.
And it's growing.
we
And
have
it's
the
growing,
greatest
yeah.
fans in the world.
Yeah,
They-
that's
really
cool.
do.
and
yeah.
it's starting to get pretty interesting. We've got these fans that follow us, but then we've also got the local ones in the venue.
Right.
You know, we've got Virginia fans, Alexandria.
Mm,
Some of them will
okay.
come out to Manassas. Then we've got a whole Manassas crowd for just this one location. So that
Wow.
we're starting to get pockets of fans, and then we've got the roving fans as well. So it's really a neat dynamic. And when somebody shows up from another club and it's over here, so it's great. Again, I think we have the greatest fans in the world, and we love to see them at each show.
Yeah, that's cool. Before our time is almost up, so before you guys get out of here, I definitely need to hear some more music. But I also wanted to ask you about your pedals here. You know, I see a lot of young guys plugging into laptops or into their iPhone, and they use a bunch of amps. Sorry, not amps, but they use apps. They use apps as amps and stuff.
I'm still analog, old school guy. You know.
So I need to hear some of that analog, man, because I'm
Well-
an analog guy myself.
Well, the pedals are used to create the effects that that I want to create for any particular song. I have different delay pedals. I have one big board here that handles 3 or 4 different effects for me, and then I have individual ones which give me different effects. My heavy overdrives, and I don't do most of my tonal stuff is clean tone, but every once in a while a song will call for some dirt. What I call dirt, what's known as dirty sound. So you hit some overdrive pedals on. I'll have a nice clean tone like that, and then I'll add a little bit of dirt to it. It's a little broken up there, and if I need more drive, I'll just. So you could, and then I'll add a little delay to it. So you get a little bit of depth out of it, and then the rest of these pedals are. This just makes me louder. So that's why I use that one when I solo.
We try to steal the battery on that
try
one
to
as
steal
often
the
as we
battery.
can.
This one here is just a little bit of a preamp for me to adjust my tone relative to the room I'm in. But that's pretty much all I use. That and my trem bar, also known as a whammy bar, which is characteristic of the Stratocasters. They have, as I mentioned before, a floating bridge, which means that it moves up and down. It's connected with springs in the back, and I can take a note and bend it, and dive with it, or raise it. You do stuff like that. So I use that as an effect. Things like that.
Yeah, that's cool, man.
So I use this a lot, which is one of the reasons I break strings often. It does tend to break strings.
And before we get out, I want to know one last thing. I want to know, how do you guys jam together? Like, who starts it off? Do you guys start with the bass?
It really depends on the tune. I mean, sometimes it'll be a groove. Or sometimes Bill will find a groove and we'll fall in behind that. You know, it just really depends on the tune.
Kicks it off. Yeah.
Sometimes somebody will start a solo.
I'm not gonna play to that.
Break into it.
Yeah,
1, 2, 3, 4.
Ha.
Hit me now. And that's how it goes, you know. Sometimes you just. It just really depends on who feels like starting, or maybe somebody's got an idea. We've had rehearsals like that.
Yeah.
Bill will play a riff, or I'll play something and we'll say, "Yeah, that's pretty catchy." Or, you know, the keyboard player will play. It just really depends on the tune. And sometimes the smallest little riff will turn into an entire song.
And it depends on how much vodka I've had also. That's,
Yeah, it's always a factor, huh?
It's always a vodka with me, yeah.
Well, I want to thank you guys again for coming out. If people wanted to find you again, how can they find you online?
Okay, website, www.deadcatbounceband. Be sure to put the band on the end, .com. You'll find us there. Or like us on Facebook. We've got a great Facebook page. Either site, you can find our shows. That's the most accurate place to find our shows. The other thing is that you can find out a lot about the band there as well.
Okay, cool. And you're going to go out with another tune, am I correct?
You're going to want to do another tune? What other tune?
We need one more. We need
what
one
song
more.
You
We
want
need
to
an
do?
encore.
What do you want to do?
We'll just pick up from the last one.
this was to the end of the night, the people would be going crazy dancing.
Time to take it out. Here we go.
Ha.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Good night.
Dead Cat Bounce. Thank you guys. Before you leave, there's one final thing. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Bill, you promised me a cigarette trick.
Oh, my magic trick. Yes, absolutely. Okay. Let me get this thing off of here.
Somebody was supposed to hide the pack of cigarettes, so hopefully whoever's working backstage did that.
No, I made sure.
Yeah, he's got it.
Here we go. I happen to have my magic cigarette right here. I do two magic tricks. This is just one of them. I'll tell you what the other one is when this one's done. Now, you need to watch very carefully. Now watch the cigarette here. Camera's all on. Now watch the cigarette here. See, there's nothing in my hand.
I think you should move up a little bit and get in the light. I think, yeah, right. I think.
Right there.
Yeah.
Don't encourage him.
Watch carefully. Here it comes. Don't look at this hand, because this is the hand that everybody looks at and then they miss the trick when they do it. Now watch carefully. And there it is.
The reappearing
That's the magic
cigarette.
trick.
Cool.
The other trick that I
Now you need a light.
Now you like the other trick that I do is the disappearing vodka trick, but that one you have to come to the club to see.
Oh, I guess you already did that one, huh?
I did that one before I got here, but I was practicing.
Yeah.
But I'm going to try it again later and make sure I get that one down. Pat.
Cool. All right. Hey, I appreciate it, man.
Thanks, man.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Yeah, this was awesome, man. Hope to do it again. Dave, thank
See
you
you
so
guys.
much, man. Yeah, appreciate it. Dead Cat Bounce. Thank you, guys.